What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
And a big thank you to our subscribers and for watching all our videos. We really appreciate you.
facts,
So, thanks for
facts,
joining us again. Today, we'll be talking about the new season, season 9 of Rick and Morty.
facts.
Just
Yeah,
what we've seen so far.
yeah. They're about what episodes in, 8 out of 10 so far. But yeah, we've got some busy days coming up, so we figured we'd go ahead and get out in front of it and talk about the new season. Because we've been watching it, we've been enjoying it, and yeah, we've been making videos about what we've been watching. So,
Yeah, there have been
so
a
here we
lot of
are.
like really good concepts, like pretty
Yeah.
interesting season, I would say so far.
Facts, yeah.
Um,
And I think this season, they've done a really good job of kind of the underlying story, like every episode, it's not just one storyline. There's kind of always another thing kind of happening in the background or like tangentially, at the same time in the episode.
Yes, which
Yeah.
I think is so interesting.
Mm.
I'll forget like things happen in the same episode. We were
Yeah.
just kind of chatting about everything before we got on here, and I was like, wait, that happened in that episode. That happened in like these
Yeah.
all happened at the same time. I was like,
Facts.
yeah, they did a really good job showing
Hmm.
like not necessarily different timelines, but like
Right.
different
Right.
plots kind of happening at the same time because I feel
Facts.
like that's something you miss a lot in like movies or in other shows and things like that. It's like you're
Hmm.
very honed in and focused on one specific
Yeah.
plot line,
Exactly.
but there's always other stuff happening.
Yeah, and I mean, even Rick and Morty was kind of like that at times in the past, But I
Yes.
think this season was like really exciting for that. Not only all of the elements they brought in the show, like the episodes were very quick moving and like easy to follow, but they also like went by fast because they were doing such a good job with the storytelling that they were creating. So yeah, I feel like I've really appreciated all the stories they've created so far. And I know there's always the controversy around like Rick and Morty, whatever, but this
Oh.
really is, I feel like, the modern day. It has the potential to be like the modern day Family Guy. I know
Mm-hmm.
Family Guy is obviously still coming out with episodes, but I mean in the sense where this is the first show in a long time where we felt like, all right, this show could actually potentially go for 10, 15 seasons.
Plus.
Yeah, like really infinitely because of the way that they're moving in the storyline. There just leaves so much up that they can still do, so many concepts they can still attack, so many
Definitely.
characters we didn't even see this season that could potentially be brought back in. So,
Yeah,
so yeah, I think
absolutely.
they've done
Barely
great.
saw Space Beth.
Yeah,
Barely
she
saw
was very
her.
light this
So
season.
to your point, yeah,
Didn't
like
see Poopy
there's
Butthole.
I
Didn't see,
know what's going on with him. He
I
was
don't
having a
know.
whole
Yeah,
thing last
last
season.
season, yeah, but didn't see too much of him.
Mm-mm, not at
Like,
all.
didn't see
Yeah.
anything with Rick's nemesis.
Birdman.
Yeah, Bird Person.
Bird
Didn't see any.
person. I was like, is
Nah,
that
yeah, didn't see anything with like Bird
his
Person
friends
or
at all? Yeah.
nothing with like
Squanchy or
Squanchy or
whatever and
Robot, whatever that guy's name,
Gearhead.
Gearhead. Yes, um,
Yeah, literally nothing with his friends. We saw
facts,
Evil
facts.
Morty,
Yeah,
but
Evil Morty was in there.
mhm.
Yeah. Well, I guess that kind of
Kind of
that's a
brings
good
us
segue
into episode
into kind
one.
of like where the season started, episode
Yes.
one. So of course, the Omega device is in play. Evil Morty is essentially holding it over Rick's head at the start of the season.
Yes, literally like blackmailing him into doing adventures with him.
Adventures, yeah.
Literally.
Literally, Morty's face was cracking us up. This guy, Evil Morty, we're
Evil
talking about,
Morty, yeah.
he was so happy. He was loving the adventure
He
with Rick.
really
He was
was.
smiling, like fire, like they were fighting side by side, all these combo moves and shit.
Yes, they were having a great, well, Evil Morty was having a great
Yeah,
time.
and
Rick was there.
yeah, against
He
his will,
was not
but
there on
but
his
yeah,
own, yeah.
Evil Morty was
Evil Morty
enjoying
was
it.
having a
Other Morty
great
was also
time.
not enjoying
Yes, because
himself.
it literally started with Rick like texting someone and Morty
Hiding
was
it.
walking in and he was
Yeah.
like, "Who are you texting?" And then Rick was being so sneaky
Yeah, he was like, no
and
one.
yeah. And then yeah, lo and behold, Evil Morty pops up out of a portal.
Facts. Yeah, that was a whole thing. So I mean, again, just a very all-encompassing like episode. There was so
Yes.
much going on in it.
Yes, and another thing too,
Mm,
I really appreciated about the whole season, they kind of brought back different concepts from earlier seasons
yeah,
as well,
facts. Yeah.
like with the
Yeah,
time traveling
exactly.
and everything.
Yep.
Obviously, that was towards the end of the episode, but
Right.
What did you think about like Morty and Rick destroying the Omega device?
I mean, I feel like it had to happen. It had to happen. I first of all, evil Morty got lost in the plot, kind of like dissing normal Morty at the diner when they were eating. Like
Yes.
he was so focused on that and didn't think Rick was doing anything sus when he went to the bathroom. Come on, man. You got to
Please.
remember who you're dealing with. So, yeah, Rick definitely got even, got his freedom, and Rick put the Omega device inside of the Omega device. So now there is no Omega
No more
device.
Omega
So that whole
device.
concept in the show has now, the loop has been closed.
Yes. But
So,
you had a really interesting thought about that
mm,
with regards to his wife.
oh, right, right. Because if all of the Omega devices are destroyed, does that mean that Rick's wife is potentially out there somewhere?
Right. Yeah. Like, is it like the device never existed, so anything it did never happened? Or is it like a
Right.
going forward
Yeah,
basis
you
where,
see, and I
like,
feel like that's a next season question. I could be
mm,
wrong. Maybe they'll address it
no,
in these
but
last two
I
episodes,
genuinely
but
think that was a really good call out about his
mm,
wife, though, because if the Omega device never existed on
right,
any timeline,
right.
then potentially then nobody could have destroyed his
Destroyed.
wife on every
Yeah, that's
timeline. So I
facts.
think that could be a really interesting concept that they play on
Facts.
next season, to your
Yeah,
point.
for real. And it really just shows again the versatility of the show. There's so much they could do. They've already done so much, but there's so much they could do
Yes,
to
so
bring in all those
much.
elements. But yeah,
Literally
there was a
so
whole
much.
battle. I mean, even in the
Yeah.
beginning of the episode, again, I want to give like the people at Rick and Morty credit because Rick was doing kamehamehas. Like if you're an anime fan,
I
if
was
you're a
like,
Dragon Ball Z fan, you know what I'm talking about. Like you could see what Rick was doing when he was like loading up the power and firing it. That's got Goku
oh,
and Vegeta written all over it. They were doing like other kind of power blasts that were homages to other anime. Like they were really bringing it all in. I mean, their animation budget must be crazy because
yeah,
there were so many
definitely.
explosions and powers being used, but especially once Evil Morty got into the picture.
So true.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just a very like it was like wow. Like I don't know. It's kind of like one of those anime episodes where there's about to be the big fight. Like it's one of those where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh shit, what's that?
Right. And
Yeah,
what was the guy? He was like eating the universe, basically, right? The guy
yeah,
they were
yeah. The
fighting.
collective or
Yeah,
whatever.
the
Yeah, yeah.
collective. He was like, yeah, just conquering other planets. But it was
Exactly.
kind of it was similar to the concept that they played on with Unity, where they're
Mm,
like absorbing
yeah,
beings, but in a
yeah,
different
yeah.
way because she just like mentally absorbs them. But
Right.
this
Wow, we
collective
didn't see
thing,
Unity at all this
yeah,
season now
also
that you
didn't
bring
see
that up.
Unity. We didn't see like any love interest for Rick at all.
No, no. He
But
was
yeah,
really on his like vacation vibe this season. Like there was
definitely.
another episode where Rick is essentially trying to like he wipes his brain so that he can go on
Episode
vacation.
2.
Episode 2.
Great.
Oh wow. Yeah, he essentially wipes his brain and becomes Ted, which is like vacation Rick.
Yeah,
Um,
literally that one.
yeah, where he's just like trying to get away, but yeah, essentially he's starting to get the signals that he isn't who he actually thinks he is, which is Ted.
Right.
And he is not having it. He does not want to go back to being Rick. And he's like, I only
No.
exist when I'm here, and the person that exists elsewhere isn't me.
Yes, but it was so interesting because as he started like tapping more into his geniusness,
Yeah,
he started becoming Rick.
I know. Yeah, literally.
Like,
And then his friends were like too stupid for him.
yes, but they were all using his tech because
Yeah.
Ted found out he was like not who he thought he was
Yep.
because his
Yep.
arm like killed a robber who was holding a gun in his
Yeah. Yeah.
face.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, from there on he was like, whoa, went to Earth,
Yep.
found
Found
Rick's house, found
house.
the
Yeah.
house and like
But like
started.
Morty and them had been trying to like get him back. Like they
Yes.
had called him on the leg phone. They sent the egg for him to try and bring him back, and he just wasn't having it. He destroyed the truck that had all holograms and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, Rick
Um,
did a bunch of holograms to be like,
yeah,
if you're messing with my tech, then push this
yeah,
button or
yeah.
whatever. And Ted was like, I'm not
But
doing
yeah,
that.
but by the end, when Rick had all of his friends at the house hanging around him all the time, he got really bored of them really fast, was drinking all the time again,
Yeah.
super cynical. And then by the end of the episode, he literally kicked them all through the portal, sent them back, and then like reset his intelligence. So
yeah.
We
Literally.
knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But still, like, he was all on the vacation vibe. He was trying to get away, trying to be on like an easier going.
Yeah, it was kind of like the simple Rick version of Rick, basically. Because I think that was in a previous season where they were like simple Rick.
Yeah,
like,
it's
whatever.
like their can live the light or
yeah. But it was like the
that's
real version
concept
of
we didn't even play on this this whole season so far is the Citadel, like the Citadel of Ricks.
Citadel.
I know they destroyed it at the end of last season, but Ricks are always.
I mean, there's always Ricks. There's always Ricks. But they didn't play on a lot. So to your point, this really is like a we just keep using Family Guy as a reference because it's one of those shows that has comedy show. So like it really could be similar to a Family Guy in that way. They haven't played on a lot of concepts or like storylines that they've had in the past. So they have so much that they could continue on or like build on or whatever.
Facts. And I mean, with the kind of shift that they did, because this season was definitely very action packed, like very action focused, a lot of action in every episode, multiple timelines going on in every episode. I feel like for the future, I feel like season 10, I do want to get a little bit more of that comedy element kind of brought back in. Not that there weren't laughs. There were definitely laughs incorporated in, and there were definitely funny parts of every episode. But I feel like, it wasn't quite like Rick's typical cynical, like, crude humor kind of sense.
He was more on like a chill vibe.
He was very chill, very chill. But I feel like, obviously a lot of the comedy in the show, most of the comedy comes from Rick. So if he's more chilled, more laid back, obviously we're not getting as
depressed.
Right. So
it's a fine line.
So episode 3.
The pool. Jerry.
Man,
we have some questions.
some of these side stories are just
crazy.
My
gosh.
I don't even remember where Rick and Morty were.
They were with the Trader Joe's.
This was the one with the Trader Joe's beef.
Yes.
This one was
whole episode.
Crazy.
The two conflicting storylines was crazy.
So you have Rick and Morty trying to get to Boob World. They're trying to go on their vacation. Finally, they have
Morty was so excited.
He's always so excited to go there. He'll never see it ever. So they're trying to get to Boob World. They stop at Trader Joe's and they get into an altercation in the parking lot with a Kung Fu master.
He like backs into the spaceship. Which is revealed later in the
episode. Right. You should figure out earlier. Because he just loves conflict. But essentially, typical Rick, not budging at all. They get into an argument and bro hits him with the hit some pressure points, and then he's like, you can no longer take 5 steps forward.
Without dying.
Literally. He meant it.
He meant it. Rick was backwards. He was walking backwards for a majority of the episode.
Rick literally is walking backwards for the whole episode. Builds like this mechanical suit so that he can float backwards.
Yes, and Morty's like pissed at Rick about the whole Boob World thing because he was like, Rick, please, can you not argue? Please, I want to go to Boob World. Let's go.
So Morty and Rick naturally get into an argument when they get back because Rick is just like, no, I have to figure this out. I have to undo this, and we're going to do it with science, like all this stuff. So Morty gets pissed and storms out. He wants to eat away his problems.
And goes to Trader Joe's.
Where he sees the guy there, the Kung Fu master. And Morty starts to befriend him. Like, they have a conversation, and then the guy's like, oh, you know what? I'll teach you everything I know.
Literally.
So Morty starts training with him.
What was the movie? The Karate Kid. A Karate Kid moment. Morty was doing all the movements with the guy, and then some delivery came.
Some random delivery guy is just like gave him bad news. And it was just like, I don't even remember what it was.
It was like the least, I don't even remember
just
what it was.
Just a minor
but it
inconvenience.
Wasn't anything crazy.
And bro was just like, literally.
The death punch.
And the guy's like, I have so much to do today. So he turns around and tries walking, takes 5 steps.
Dead. Literally has like an aneurysm.
Cooked.
Crazy.
So we know the punch is real. And then Morty is just like, why'd you do that? And then the guy looks at Morty and goes, "Was that a criticism?"
That's right.
And then then it just cuts to Morty crying, walking backwards to the garage, saying, "Rick, he got me too.
He did it. I went to Trader Joe's to eat my feelings and I ran into him, and then he like, and then Rick like has a robot. Rick was in the meantime building a robot that would like go forward while he's sitting backwards. Right?
He's sitting forwards and the robot goes backwards, but it has a... Actually, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I think we're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. The robot, he's facing the opposite direction of which way the robot is going.
Right. To make sure he's always moving backwards.
Yeah, so that he's not going forwards. But he had like mirrors and a screen and a bunch of stuff.
Exactly.
But the robot has arms and he's like picking up Morty and Morty's crying. He's like, my little boopa.
That was crazy.
That was so funny.
That was hysterical.
And then, Morty got his own robot.
Yep. And then they essentially had to go up to the Kung Fu Master's origin, the guy who trained the guy who death punched them, and help him resolve something with his daughter.
Right, in order to like learn the death punch.
Right, and the daughter was like in a throuple or something.
She was in a polycule.
Yeah, and so the guy is just like typical boomer, just like can't wrap his head around it. He's just like, this is too many people to bring to your mom's house. And Morty's like, no, you got to be more understanding. Like, chilling him out.
And then immediately he's like, this just means that you have more ways to break your heart.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even about the polycule at the beginning. Anyway, we're like, what do you mean?
Yeah, typical, right?
No,
so they resolve that, get the science. Rick, of course, builds a machine and it like...
Yeah.
Like
that cups. Was so satisfying. But another funny thing I wanted to mention, not really funny, but like, for the show purposes, when they went up to the Kung Fu Master and they told him what happened, he was like, he did the same thing to my cat. His cat.
That's crazy. He was like, that guy's a dick.
Yeah, literally. But yes, when he got the science behind the heart punch.
Yeah, the little suction cups.
It had like a little suction cup with like hands, and it went on the 5 spots where the hits were, and just like boop, suctioned out the divots, which was super satisfying.
Yeah, that was pretty satisfying. All right, and then I guess before we get to the conclusion of that, we'll talk about Jerry's side story in this episode.
Jerry.
So Jerry's whole plot in this episode was to clean the pool. That was the whole plot. The episode started with the pool being like brown, like disgusting.
Yeah.
So he watches a YouTube video and figures out how to essentially like rig his pool cleaner.
Right, because he didn't want to hire the other guy.
Right, because he didn't want to hire the attractive pool cleaner. That somehow Beth knew his schedule, but that's neither here nor there. But basically, in true Jerry fashion, he skips past all of the warnings, all of the explanation, and just goes straight to the update.
The like update, right? Yeah. Because he plays it at certain points, and the guy in the video is like, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
So many bad things could happen. Be careful.
Under no circumstances let this... And Jerry's just like, skip. So anyway, he does what he does. The machine finally cleans the pool. So Jerry's like, let me get in the pool now.
Let me take a dip. Innocent little dip.
And the machine comes over and starts like cleaning Jerry. And it
escalates really fast.
Like way too fast. Unless
for
Jerry,
someone to
like
lose their appliance virginity.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. They did a whole like wet scene for Jerry pass. That was insane.
You have
that
to go
was
watch
the craziest
it. We
thing
won't
ever.
say much about
And then
that.
the pool cleaner comes and tries to like kill like the robot because Jerry didn't read the instructions.
Felt guilty.
Right, so he tried to call Beth, and then the pool cleaner pulled up, and then the robot tried to start killing people.
Yeah, tried to kill the pool cleaner because he was getting in between Jerry and the pool cleaner. Oh, the human pool cleaner. The robot tried to kill the human pool cleaner.
And then like they were having a discussion about it literally right in front of Beth, and she was like, I'm standing right here. I heard everything you guys just talked about.
I know, because there was like the whole like robot closing down the house and putting up the guards and flooding the house, and and then they killed the robot.
Yeah,
then,
they took something out of it.
then,
but anyway, that was that whole story.
crazy.
Yeah, Jerry's side story was insane.
Yeah,
Jerry
apparently
is
Beth has a thing for her hairdryer.
Right, so. Yeah, because it talks. That's a whole
weird.
Anyway. But basically that leads Rick and Morty with their new protective suit on. Essentially, they have something like covering their chest.
Yes,
they go and confront this Kung Fu guy, and it is the most like cartoonishly anime, like ridiculous fight.
Yeah, you were loving that.
It was
so
just
good.
It was just funny. They were doing like the huge words on the screen,
announcing their attacks.
Yeah, like crazy animations for each one.
Yeah.
And then of course like the Kung Fu god came down and like
brought down their wrath and had them fight their champion or whatever they called it.
just again more of Rick and Morty like doing like an homage to like anime and stuff like that, which again I can appreciate because they teeter on the line of like anime, adult animation. They're right on the line there. I guess definitely. It's both, but yeah, so they definitely brought in a lot of those elements, and in this episode really exaggerated.
Yes, which was super cool. It was really cool to like watch their battle and see all the different moves that they came up with for it. Some of them were ridiculous. I can't remember them, but some of them were pretty funny.
Yeah, just like very in the moment of the fight. I know one of them was like the Kung Fu guy inflated Morty's head at one point, and then Rick did like a deflate head punch or something, and like it was just
that's
just ridiculous.
Right.
But
oh
pretty
my
funny.
Gosh, that episode was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the next one, episode 4.
Yeah.
What's his face? What's the guy? Reese.
Yeah, Reese. So episode 4, basically, Rick is essentially comes into the garage belligerent in true Rick fashion, drunk, out of this world, and he cannot get into his computer. He's trying all his passwords, won't work. So he gets locked out and the garage shuts down.
Literally like barricaded on everything.
Yeah.
And so what he calls Morty comes in or something.
He calls Morty.
Morty.
But he doesn't call him on the phone. He's just yelling his name.
Yeah. And then Morty comes in and starts like giving Rick a hard time for locking himself out. Naturally, of course. Rick, are you drunk again?
Yeah.
And then Rick gets a mysterious phone call from his friend Reese, who Morty loves.
Yeah. But if you get the reference, it's essentially like the dual factor authentication. Like, you'll get those messages that pop up when you're logging into like your bank app that will send you a text message, or they'll get you a phone call. So essentially Rick's reset password is the phone call. That triggers.
Okay. See, I didn't get that. I didn't understand that that's like what that meant.
That's what I was assuming from it. Because like the phone call of
right.
Reese, I'm like, what triggers Reese to call? It must be once he gets locked out.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
See, he's so smart. I did not get all that.
But what were you saying? They've known Reese for years.
Yeah, known him for years. Yeah. So Morty super lit, super excited about his good friend Reese visiting.
Yep.
And then they go on a fishing trip.
Yeah, they always go on like these outdoorsy adventures. So
Reese is in some like fishing gear outfit all the time. Yeah.
And then Reese is just like a perfect mediator between Rick and Morty. He's like helping them resolve their differences and like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And actually we found out later in the episode that is what resets Rick's password when him and Morty like figure out their relationship differences. So Reese is essentially designed to help them come to an agreement, which then helps reset Rick's password.
Wow.
Yeah.
Picking up on everything. Okay, Millie. Yes. Okay. So that's really cool. I did not get all that. So but when they got back from the fishing trip.
Right. Yeah.
That was kind of where all of the turmoil began.
Wrong. Yeah, everything went terrible because basically a raccoon is in the garage and Reese's like defensive protocol gets activated. Yeah. And he just like destroys the raccoon, and then Rick's like, "Oh shit," and comes up to Reese and like pushes the button behind his ear.
And Morty's like, "What the hell?
Yeah, like, what's going on?
What is happening? Yeah, literally just like so
freaking
pissed
out
at Rick. We've known him for years.
Yeah, literally, because all of the memories are just fake, right?
Yeah.
But this is when Rick is explaining like about how he resets his password and about their relationship and Reese's role within that, all this stuff. Morty doesn't want to hear any of that.
So what does Morty do?
So Morty goes up to Rick's laptop, pushes on the keyboard so the password alarm goes off again, grabs Reese's body and jumps into the vault.
Right before it closes.
Crazy. And then again, this is every episode, like we've mentioned, has these side plots. So earlier in the episode, Rick mentioned how he has this endless what is it called? Flask. His flask is like endless.
That's right.
Yeah, he essentially has this like subdeveloped species of hogs developing his vodka for him, like literally all the time. So he is an endless supply.
Which was a whole side plot. Because then Morty's down in the his lab basically in the sub basement. And
he's trying to get to a thing to send Reese to a new place.
Yes, trying to like give him a happy afterlife basically. Where he'll be able to be in the woods and fishing and living off the land or whatever.
The place looked beautiful when they got there.
The place looked great.
So good on the pictures.
So good.
And as soon as they went through the portal,
they went to Rick's flask dimension.
Life under billionaires.
No, actually, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was polluted. The green space was gone, and they were just working tirelessly to no end to serve one person.
Yeah.
Sound familiar?
Basically.
Yeah. Which kind of, was a whole, and again, with the subplots going on in every episode, while this is happening, Rick is trying to break into the vault upstairs.
That's right.
And so he essentially calls the cloud. If you remember way back, there was a cloud that Morty and Rick interacted with.
Yes.
And they were able to obviously change any element in their body. And so they made a material for Rick to make the bunker to his vault with. And so he called their hotline to get help breaking into his vault so he could try and get to Morty. And the cloud had to possess Jerry to do so.
Had to possess Jerry. I think it wanted to possess Jerry.
Well, Rick, like the cloud asked, it's like, you gotta give us access, whatever. So Rick went over and held the phone up to Jerry and said, "Jerry, listen to this." And then the cloud just like went
possessed him. Literally just went straight into his brain. Basically, and then possessed his body.
Facts.
What was the first thing the cloud did?
Ran away.
Went to the car wash.
Yeah, that was.
That was crazy. He was like, I need to go to the hardware store.
I need to get tools.
And then goes to a car wash.
Yeah, and so Rick calls him and is just like, that doesn't sound like you're getting tools. Yeah, because the cloud, obviously, it's a cloud. It doesn't have a physical body. So it was finally feeling things and was loving the possession of Jerry.
So much.
Which was hysterical because when the episode concluded, they still had the cloud. Cloud was still in Jerry.
Yes.
They didn't give a shit.
Well, right, because they moved it into Reese.
Right, into Reese's body
at the very end.
But basically, Morty had brought Reese to this world. They kidnapped Reese. They had been very familiar with Rick's technology.
Well, right, because Morty just left Reese there.
Right.
And then left the bunker.
Yep.
And, then...
So anyway, the Hogs basically hack into Reese, use that to hack into all of Rick's devices, and Rick, in true Rick fashion, has turned everything in the house into technology. So the sofa is fighting, the tables are fighting.
That was insane. There were like saws flying from the ceiling.
Yeah.
There was floors lava at some point.
Yeah, at one point the floor was lava.
Literally.
They brought in so many different elements. Yeah. But all of it was just, again, a very action-packed, very exciting episode.
Very much so.
A lot of things happening, 2 different plot lines to follow, which kind of makes the episode go very fast because you're only following each plot line for like 5 to 7 minutes before it switches to the other one. Yes. It switches back, and then it's like, boom, they come together, and then the story's done.
I know, yeah. See, I really do love that they like all come together at the end and the storylines converge.
Yeah, facts. And so episode 5, that was when Jerry ate the worry
worms. That's right.
He had a big presentation, and Space Beth had these worry worms. Yeah.
Yep. And she was like, take one. And he was like, I'm not doing drugs. And then he ended up taking one, felt amazing, and then took what, like 20 plus more? They were just the
because his interview went really well.
Yes.
So because his interview went really well, he got invited to go to some dinner, and so on the way home he was just popping these things.
Them.
Yeah. And so the worms were just everywhere,
reproducing in his body, just like,
because that's how stressed everywhere.
He was. And you could see the worms crawling under his skin. Oh, I didn't like that. That was not good.
And then, simultaneously, Morty actually went on an adventure to visit Snowball on the dog planet, and there was a whole plot going on over there.
What do you think of the Mups?
They know what they were called. Yeah, that's literally exactly what they were called. Yeah, so Snowball and the dogs over there, they were breeding a subspecies, essentially subservient species, similar to the way humans have dogs, and they built theirs mixed with human genetics and called them Mups, essentially their version of getting revenge.
Yes,
they really wanted Morty to see it.
They did. Yeah. They really did. And there was like a whole like narrative throughout the whole thing. Oh, Morty thinks we're bigots. Morty thinks we're racist. We're doing eugenics, and like, I know. Morty's like, whoa.
They were saying all of that. Yeah, they were saying it. Morty's just like, I don't want to get involved.
The projection is crazy. Yeah, but then when Snowball took Morty to his house, the like other creatures, the like, I guess they would consider them the like deformed ones of the Mups, which they were more conscious. Hence why they considered them bad.
Right.
But they like jumped over the wall, and Morty was kind of having the curtain peeled back on a lot of things in their worlds.
Yeah, because they like kidnapped Morty, and then of course Morty ends up leading the rebellion.
He's like, I don't want to do this.
He literally did not want to get involved in anything. And by the time Rick picked him up and the world was destroyed, he was like, I didn't get involved. I didn't want to be the leader.
I know, and they were like, you're leading.
Yeah, facts.
Because the one woman, the queen of like the deformed Mups, she died, and then they were like, Morty, leader?
He became the de facto leader immediately. Yeah. So that was happening on one side, and then on the other side, Jerry is just having the most legendary day of his life.
Crazy.
I mean, he's got these worms everywhere under his skin. He's like on a plane. He like destroyed all of the gears of the plane and ends up birthed a child on the plane. Somehow they all walked away from it. Yeah.
He was going crazy.
And essentially they're just in this water tower, and the worms just start spilling out of Jerry's
these two guys were like worshiping him like a god, and then they started eating the worms that he was just spewing out.
And Jerry was like, no, I can feel the worry. I guess
he was pissed.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That was a crazy episode.
That one was so crazy.
With the worry
worms. Yeah.
So then that was 5, and then 6 is when Rick head and body were separated.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a whole catastrophe.
That was a whole. Because do you remember how that happened? I forget how that happened. In that episode.
He was something. It was like a Rick. What's the daughter's name? Summer and Morty episode. They were all doing something, but Rick had his head through a portal and was talking to someone through the portal, and then in the process, like he was saying way too much, and then the portal closed and like
cut his head off.
Yeah. So Rick's head and his body, one was with Summer and the other part was with
Morty had the head, Summer had the body,
and they just had 2 completely different days with the head and the body.
Literally completely different days, but they were on some planet that had like no rules, no laws,
and Rick's body was like had all these weapons.
All of them. Summer was spending the whole day trying to fight off people that were trying to steal his body.
Yep.
And then
they got given up by Rick's one friend they thought he could trust.
Yep.
So the body was having to do all this stuff, and she found a little piece to like put on the neck so it could sense movement.
That's right. Yeah, that guy that they went to. Yeah. He put it on the neck, which ended up helping out, which was great. Even though he sold them out, it was great.
And then on the flip side, Rick's head is just like eating batteries, just eating all of the technology that it could find, just so that it could get different augmentations in the
That's
head.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And then so they're going through. They both had crazy days.
Yeah.
Morty's was probably more chill.
Yeah, but it was like Rick's head was not influenced by alcohol because he had no stomach. Rick's body was also not influenced by alcohol because it had no head.
Yeah.
And so they were low key like
Thriving.
loving their time apart.
They had the best day.
Literally
ever.
so much.
Yeah.
And
so
then,
good. So then naturally when Summer and Morty met at the airport and tried to reconnect the head and the body, they immediately, so cute at first. Yeah, they're doing like the slow motion run towards each other, and you think they're about to,
yeah, like hop back onto the head. I know, because Rick's head got some like body that was crawling like around on the ground. Yeah. So they were like jumping at each other, and then they just break out into this all-out brawl.
Turned into absolute mayhem.
Just absolute destruction. Mayhem.
And again, I'm telling you, with the animation budget, they went crazy for these fights.
They did.
They were like full-blown anime level like fights, like technology, powers, like all sorts of stuff. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. It was crazy. Yeah, that episode was nuts. I forget how they even got the head and the body back together, but it was.
I don't remember.
I don't exactly even know. Whatever. Go watch the episode.
Something happened. Yeah, and they ended up getting.
But they ended up getting it back together, and
then Rick joked with us at the end of the episode because he stuck his head through a portal again, and it closed and then stopped right around.
I know, and they did a lot with like the cartoon noises. This one, because another thing I totally forgot about in the first episode, because they used cartoon noises with the running in that episode, was the bunker dimension.
Yeah, the bunker
where they like had the whole fight with evil Morty in the bunker dimension, but they did that whole little cartoon running thing, and then his head, because it was like Rick's legs running and like kicked its brain out of evil Morty's hands, and it was like the cartoon running like that was funny. But anyway, that one that was
they
funny.
Did a lot of good moments like that, like again, like laughable moments, but also giving like an homage to the forms of art that came before and kind of led to this point. Because obviously animation started way back then, and those are the types of sounds that were being used to build up the animation. So the fact that they're finding a way to incorporate it in modern media is really cool.
It is really cool. I definitely really appreciated that aspect.
Yeah. So episode 7.
This
was the one that, of course, went super viral.
This online. One did, This
episode was really, really cool. Honestly, like probably one of my favorite Rick and Morty episodes.
Ooh, okay.
I just love the concept of like the evolution, like the whole energy kind of being reborn, and that
like
whole thing.
Actual reincarnation,
right? Yeah, to some degree. Obviously, we know it was manipulated by that one tree.
Well,
but I liked like the concept of what Morty was doing with like the plant becoming the tree, having the fruits.
Well, because really like cool. The whole backstory to that is like Rick had this sap from this tree that got him super high. And then so he wanted to go back and get more. So as him and Morty go there and they are like hacking at the tree kills them and like sends them down into the ground, into the beginning of like the evolution cycle, and they come out as like amoeba or whatever. Like little cells.
Which was like crazy, like such a again, like a really cool concept, like going back to the beginning and like kind of going through the evolution and different animals that were even on our evolutionary charts.
Very, very cool.
And then I thought it was really cool in that episode how like Rick and Morty both had like separate paths, they both kind of went their own way after the first little bit.
So true. Morty was more on the like peaceful evolution side of things, where Rick was more on like the I'm going to cut this tree down and I don't care how many of you have to die in order for me to get out of here and like breach the surface, because the whole thing was like the tree was basically the outer atmosphere almost.
Exactly. And it had created like a sub world below it. And it was essentially just stealing the nutrients from the reincarnation cycle from the beings below. And all the beings that had landed there, they were all space travelers who had landed at this place and the tree didn't
trying
like
to like conquer worlds.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, the tree essentially punished them for doing so by creating this space. Yeah.
Yeah, which was super cool. So I definitely want to get more into like what Morty was going through. Like what was his path? Like how did you feel about how he was going about trying to get out of the...
Yeah, well, I really liked because Morty there was a difference between the non-violence that those people that he was first walking with were doing, and then what Morty kind of changed to at the end. Because the non-violence approach, again, Morty wasn't really seeing it being fulfilling in the same way.
Right, because he like joined a group of people, like a group of other people that were also going through the same thing, and like showing him how they were going through the cycle. That's
exactly.
right.
But he still like wasn't really like bought into it. He still wasn't thinking that it was the most fulfilling way or the way out.
Yes.
And then one of them passed a comment saying, oh, the people, and then they gave Morty some food and he didn't want to eat it. He was like, who is that? And they were like, oh, that's no one. No one chooses to become a plant. Only people who have truly given up do that.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was like a big transitional moment for Morty, because then he truly like sacrificed control and let go.
Yeah. And like went through the whole basically evolution of a plant.
Yeah.
Like that like triggered something in his brain that was like, wait a second, this whole thing is a plant. Yeah. This whole thing is a plant. Yeah. So I should be a plant.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like it was so cool. I would definitely recommend this episode. What was it called? That was the last Rick Forest.
Yeah, last Rick Forest.
That one, like Mort watching Mort Gully. Watching Morty go through the cycle of like small plant to like big tree, going through winter, like dying, coming back, growing larger.
Yeah,
growing
it was so
fruit,
satisfying.
Being fruit, being eaten by the animals, being pooped out by the animals, growing more trees, and just like going through that whole cycle. He became a whole forest.
Yeah, he did. He was so satisfying. Yeah.
He had a little vine.
Exactly. And then he essentially broke the surface. Yeah. Got up to the tree that initially killed them.
Yes. Well, because it was also interesting. You could kind of see what Rick was doing at the same time while you were following Morty.
Yes, that was really cool. Yeah. You could see all the bodies piling up from Rick's
just
experiments.
Bodies on bodies, trying to like cut the tree down or climb to the top.
Yep.
But Morty, being a tree and being a plant, he actually slithered up the trunk of the tree
and vined it and breached the surface.
Yeah. And then what happened?
And then the tree attacked.
He didn't like it. Morty got to the top and said, I figured it out. And finally felt sunlight for the first time in who even knows how long. And then, the old tree was like,
oh, I'm already here.
I don't share.
And then Morty was like, oh, I'll go find a different planet then. And then the tree was like, I don't like spacefarers. And then just like hit him back down. So then Morty's whole forest like died. But essentially that kind of helped them crack the code. They essentially learned that the only way to beat this tree was going to be to starve it out. And so they essentially got into a massive cave, and Morty sustained everybody, and they went into a form of non-violence cohabitation.
Cohabitation.
And they all lived together and essentially starved out the big tree.
Yeah, because everyone was able to live off of Morty and his life force as a plant, and he just like grew and grew and grew, and it was beautiful. The inside of the cave they were living in, it was like illuminated by Morty. They were all eating, like it was so like they were all pacifists, basically. Which it was really cool to see. And then the tree died.
Yeah,
the big tree
they
died.
Had to like pull it down and like fight it and stuff, but they eventually won. But the cooperation and everything was brilliant.
It really was.
Yeah, it was honestly such a good episode. So satisfying, so like aesthetically pleasing to watch. Visually pleasing to watch. Like they really snapped with this one. This was a peak episode.
Let's watch
I would definitely watch it. I would definitely watch that one again. Yeah, definitely.
We definitely
Gully Forest. Yeah, we'll definitely watch that one.
Yeah. So to close it out with episode 8.
Yeah, and then
what happens with episode 8?
Episode 8 again starts so satisfying.
That
Rick is in his distillery. He's got his tunes in. We were all vibing. We're like,
yeah, the tunes too were like
Rick.
little aliens
Yeah,
floating in his
yeah,
ears,
I
which
know,
was
yeah,
funny.
that was
But yeah,
funny.
I love seeing like Rick's weird little.
He's like in this satisfying mode. He's got his whole distillery set up.
So satisfying, like so satisfying lo-fi music. He's like pouring this crazy beautiful liquid in, and then what
Right,
happens?
because it was like a vegetable, and you saw when he was unpacking it, it was in this special packaging like stuff that he took it out of, so obviously signifying that it was a rare like
yeah
find.
It looked like an intergalactic potato.
And so he's pouring it into the thing, and Morty comes in and is calling his name.
You can see Morty in the background. He's
we
like,
can
Rick.
hear like Morty muffled in the background, but Rick doesn't hear him.
He's got the noise canceling on.
Morty of course touches something,
starts banging on something, trying to get Rick's attention. Are you dumb, bro?
The entire distillery falls apart,
collapses, and Rick doesn't even know until something hits the jar out of his hand.
Yeah,
and he turns around.
He's like, what the fuck?
This better be important, Morty.
Morty wanted Rick to drive him to the store to buy Pokemon cards. That is why Morty ignored the do not disturb and destroyed Rick's distillery to go pick up Pokemon cards. Where's my belt?
No, basically, that's exactly what Rick wanted to do.
For real, Morty was crazy for that.
He was crazy
for that. Ruined the most satisfying intro ever.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. Then they had to go and win another one of those fruit, essentially. Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, because he was working on this distillery, connecting back to one of the other episodes, because he lost his flask dimension. Right. So now he has to make his own alcohol liquor. Yes. So
that's the reason for the distillery. Yeah. Right. So then Summer gets sent on a mission to go pick up all the supplies from the store with Jerry. And then Rick and Morty now have to compete in a dance competition to win another one of these valuable fruit or vegetable or whatever it is that Rick has. So essentially, in order to do that, Rick puts a bug in Morty's ear that eats empathy.
Yeah, literally like preys on Morty's empathy center.
Right.
And like forces him to be empathetic towards everything that's happening around him.
Right.
Like Rick can be calling him an absolute piece of shit, and Morty's just hearing, Morty, that's great. Right. Thanks so much for your help today. Like stuff literally. Like that. Yeah.
And so they did that so that they could go and train for this competition, because essentially we know Morty would not have made it through that with his anxiety.
Yeah, and we know Rick would be berating him the whole time.
So they train, it shows their whole training sequence. Meanwhile, Summer and Jerry are having an interaction with a serial killer at the...
Right, because they needed these like 50-gallon drums or whatever on
and
Rick's
the guy
list.
Literally had all of them.
And he had all of them. So they assumed he was a serial killer.
They saw him.
Kidnapped a woman.
She kidnapped a woman while they were watching him.
Right. So Summer had Jerry wrap her in a rug.
Right.
And then...
It was this whole diabolical plan so that they could get one of the drums. So Jerry rolls Summer up and is like, oh, I wish I had one of those drums. They are way better for this. And then the guy's like, oh, why don't you come back to my house? I have change for your 100 there.
I know, because he had too much money.
He was like, I'm a serial killer, not a thief.
And Jerry was like, keep the change, bro. And he was like, nah, come to my house. And I'll give you the murder drum. So
they end up going to this serial killer's house. That was the other story going on while Rick and Morty are in their dance competition.
Yeah.
But essentially, they win the dance competition, which was great. Right?
Yes, they got their potato.
They get the potato. Rick takes the thing out of Morty's ear and is like, hey, Morty, you did great. It's small at this point still. It's still like a tiny little thing. He's like, Morty, you did great. Good job. Couldn't have done this without you. Now get the F out of here. Like essentially kicks him out of the garage because now Rick wants to start working on his distillery again.
Of course. Putting it back together.
Yeah. As soon as Morty is walking away, he grabs the thing that Rick had and puts the thing back in his ear.
Morty.
Sometimes Morty.
Be for real.
Sometimes.
Be so
So
for real.
he becomes, again, the most
empathetic person
in the world.
Ever.
He's thriving in life.
Yeah.
Everything's going great for Morty.
So great. And then Rick doesn't realize he has the thing in at first.
Yeah.
And then I forget what they were doing, but there was some whole thing about Morty empathizing with an explosion.
Right. Yeah.
And then they were at some store. I don't remember. But
yeah.
And then Rick was like, you have the bug in, don't you?
Yeah.
And he starts pulling it out of Morty's head. And it's like one leg makes it out, and the thing is ginormous.
It's huge.
Humongous.
It literally put a hole in Morty's brain. It was huge.
Like a huge hole in his brain. It was cool though when they were pulling it out. They were like flipping between Morty's like empathy side and then the non-empathy side.
Right.
So it was like cool to see what was actually really cool. Happening. Facts. And what like Morty was experiencing.
Yeah.
I really would have loved to see more of like the outside perspective of Morty though. That would have been pretty interesting. Cool. But anyway, they pulled the bug out. Yeah. They pulled the bug out and the thing was ginormous. And starts like terrorizing wherever they were.
Yeah, wherever they were, somewhere in space. So yeah, they had to deal with this giant bug, this empathy bug that Morty had been abusing for a long time. And yeah,
and now he has no
huge.
Empathy.
Yeah, now that's another issue.
Full
opposite. But needless to say, they somehow made it out of that and then got back to solve whatever was going on with Jerry and Summer.
Right, and then Rick put the bug in his head for a few or something like that, and then
what happened to it? I think it died somehow.
Yeah,
he drank.
He killed it or something.
He started drinking and it died because of the alcohol.
Okay, I didn't like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this season there was a lot. As you know, I mean, we've been here for 50 something minutes chatting about this season of Rick and Morty, and there's 2 episodes that haven't even come out yet.
Yeah.
It's been a really great season. It's been so enjoyable. It's been such a ride. Every episode is so encapsulating, has so much going on, so many storylines to follow. I think it's been a great season.
It really has. It's been really entertaining to watch, satisfying to watch. It's got, like you said, it pulls from a lot of different genres of animation as well. And that's been really cool. And you can definitely tell that they're putting a lot into the season.
Definitely, yeah. And like definitely keep an eye out for those like old cartoonish sounds or those anime references because they're definitely sprinkled in there, but you got to keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're good, man. You got to give them credit. Credit is due because this season of Rick and Morty has been a great one. So,
it really has.
Looking forward to what else is to come.
Facts.
Yeah. So
those
were our thoughts on season 9 of Rick and Morty.
If you made it this far,
thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.